Welcome to Ear Biscuits. I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we are discussing embracing immaturity. And we wanted to bring on some people to talk with us. It's like, who can hang out with us on an Ear Biscuit discussing
immaturity?
Embracing immaturity.
Who's the most immature in the office?
So we've got Mike and Alex.
Is that a compliment?
Well,
you should
know
be
what?
honored, man.
Yeah.
That is the thesis. That by the end of this conversation, I think we will thoroughly unpack the fact that absolutely it's a compliment. Welcome to the fold, boys.
Wow.
We're never gonna grow up.
Excited to be here.
Really?
Yeah.
In the realm of
Really?
never growing
Yeah,
up.
not me.
Sorry we made you wait.
No,
Sorry
no.
Link made you wait.
No, it's good. We're here now.
I had to eat a salad. Then I had to get salad out my teeth.
I had to sit there and listen to him eat a salad, which is always an experience. Okay, so we are going to talk about embracing immaturity, which is a chapter in the book of Mythicality. We'll talk all about that. We're going to talk about your guys' show, 10 Feet Tall. I'm wearing the t-shirt.
I see it. Looks
Look at
great.
that. I mean,
Right on the pocket.
You have a derivative 10 Feet Tall
You got the
t-shirt
OG
on. We'll talk about
merching
that
it
in a little
up.
bit too. Because your guys' show kind of embodies that. But before we do that, you just passed another threshold.
I did, yeah.
As in you had a birthday.
I did.
How old did you turn?
Well, we were gonna celebrate your birthday,
Well, yeah.
and then all of a sudden,
That's right.
you weren't there for it. I mean, it was.
I
And
missed my own birthday celebration here at the
here
office.
at the office because you left sick.
Yeah.
Did you?
Was I planning on that?
I think
How old did you turn? I didn't mean to. What was Rhett's question?
Oh man, this is kind of hard to say, but 28.
Oh God!
Yikes.
Why is 28 hard to say?
For me,
20.
that's scary. That's a spooky number.
Okay, yikes. It's a good number.
You turned 28. Mike, how old are you?
24.
Dang,
Dang.
Okay.
Soon to be
Young
25.
crazy.
Yeah, you turned 25
1
soon.
month.
Oh,
Man,
We're all crossing
back on.
thresholds here.
Yeah, everybody has birthdays.
I think
I'm
you
not-
genuinely forgot though.
What?
Because you told people to get you cheesecake and then you just left and didn't tell.
No,
is that what happened? Were you
No,
sick?
I didn't
Because they
forget.
told me you were sick.
I was sick. Yeah, it was.
I mean, I still ate the cheesecake. It didn't matter that you weren't here.
I was happy for everyone who enjoyed my cheese.
What happened?
I missed out.
I mean, I came into work that morning, and then it was like, well, I don't know. You were there. It was like 9:30, and I was looking at Mike, and I go, "There's no way." Like we were supposed to shoot that day, and I was just like, I feel like I could throw up at any second. And then
You looked rotten.
I looked
Green,
It's
like
the
green.
best I could describe. You look like a sewer boy.
a sewer boy. I felt kind of like a sewer boy. I just felt horrible. Like I was.
I'm gonna have to
sweating.
look that up on Urban Dictionary
Yeah,
later.
it should be added if it's not there.
I was just sweating and also freezing at the same time.
Ooh.
And I was just like, I laid down on our couch up in our little loft, and I was just like, Mike, there's no way I can shoot today. And then I was just like, I had a flight out at 4 a.m. that next morning.
Oh, that night.
That night, yeah,
Oh.
technically. Well, my flight was at 6, but I had to get in an Uber by 4. And so I was just like, I have to go. So I went into Cody's office, and I was just like, there's nothing good has happened.
You vomited in there?
No, I vomited when I got home. And then oh yeah.
But okay, but didn't you, was it the day before that you shot that censored food thing?
Yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah, we didn't even really put that together,
we
really.
sort of
Well,
talked about
Stevie
that.
was the one who said that because the interesting thing was, and that video is out on This Is Mythical, but so you did the censored food video where everything that you're eating and you're making is censored visually, but everything that you're talking about is also censored
Yeah.
verbally.
Yeah.
But she was explaining to me, she was like, Alex is sick, and I think it's probably because of that.
I think she
censored
might be
food
onto
thing.
something.
And the funny thing is they made gross stuff and they put like dirty mop water in one of the dishes and they didn't need to because the whole thing was censored.
Yeah, funny how that works out.
But
You gotta make
I
it
don't
real.
know.
Huh?
Yeah, well, it wasn't as authentic. I mean, I appreciate leaving our recipe out of that. It was censored for a reason. The mop. Okay, now you guys have one of the ingredients.
That's on me that I did
Sorry.
that to you.
Yeah, that's right.
I knew we'd see color. I suppose they could have changed that in post, but I said we need something black.
That's right. We always get something black in the mix usually, but
Yeah. But you don't think it was food poisoning?
No, I felt horrible. I mean, I was in New York that weekend with my girlfriend, and it was just like awful, like that whole week. It
Oh,
was
so
like a
that's where you
flu
were
thing.
flying.
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Being on a plane sick is not good.
No, well, I remember this is awful because I essentially just was like sick that whole time, and then I got on the plane, and we're about to take off, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna throw up right now. And then I was like,
There's a bag for that.
well, it wasn't in front of me though. So I was like, how could I get to the bathroom while the plane is taking off? I was like thinking like,
You can't.
is that physically possible?
No.
And I don't think it is.
Well,
yeah.
you probably could do it, but you would be tackled.
Hold on, are you telling me, what, did you look for the barf bag? Because
no, they're not in the thing anymore.
Is that real?
You
What do
gotta
you
go.
mean? Yeah,
Is it
it's
real?
real.
Is it-
Yeah.
It's in the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the
people need to
90s,
tell
it was
me
real.
that.
I don't. Is it
No,
real?
No,
listen,
yeah,
man.
yeah. There's a barf bag in every.
Not in the seats anymore. You got to get them from the bathroom. On
Well, what
Is that
airline were
like-
you on?
Delta.
Delta's saving money, not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna save money on barf bags, but we're gonna lose a lot of money on having to clean up barf.
I don't
What
know.
did you do?
I looked. I toughed it out.
You
I
got to
said-
go deep into the pouch, though, man.
Really? So it's not in the pouch?
It's down
It's
deep.
like finding a baby kangaroo. you got to pull it open and stick your hand way down in there.
Or just barf into the actual.
But then we're taking off and then it's coming back at me, you know?
No, into the magazine holder.
Oh, yeah, I guess that was an
Yeah, that's
option.
I'm
I don't know. I just like was in a catatonic weird state.
You staved it off
yeah,
while you were
I was
taking
like-
off.
It was like a mental battle. I was
Deep
just
breathing.
Focusing, yeah.
Breathe out in through your nose and out through your mouth.
It was an experience. I've never had a flight like that. The guy next to me probably thought I was on drugs because I was like sweating.
This
and,
guy's
like,
obviously in
gripping
withdrawal.
on it.
Dude,
Yeah.
you were contagious, man.
Yeah.
On a plane.
But in love, you know, had to get out
gosh.
there.
Had to get there.
Had to get
man.
out there.
That's another
Did she
podcast.
get sick later? Eventually,
I think she's all right.
Okay.
She'll be all right.
I hadn't talked to her.
she already knew to keep her distance.
yeah,
Period.
exactly. Yeah.
Just-
yeah.
Did you vomit anywhere?
The only time I threw up was when I went home after work,
Not in the plane.
not on the plane.
And then you
Huh.
got better while you were in New York.
yeah, then I just hung out in New York.
Mm. Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, it was
Belated.
great.
Cheesecake was great.
Yeah, well,
Pretty good.
I missed it, but it sounded great.
Now, you guys are roommates in real life. That's
Yeah.
not just for the show.
All right, boys, live together. Make it happen.
We may have done that anyway. So when he leaves, what do you do?
Get separation anxiety. No, I mean, I tend to leave too, I guess. But that makes it sound like
I tend to leave too.
that makes it sound like I can't be alone.
No, we do that because it's like for scheduling, obviously. If one
Right.
of us,
Yeah.
the only other time anybody else.
So you
can
went
leave.
back home.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did go
Your
home.
lives are getting in sync just like
Ours,
ours.
I know.
Yeah, that's what happens,
have
man.
to.
You have to take
Yeah.
simul vacations.
Yeah.
Menstrual cycles, the whole nine.
Everything
I haven't
begins to
developed
sync
that
up.
yet.
It happens.
Well,
Well, don't worry.
Your cycles come in?
I've been synced up with you for years.
Not
man.
old enough.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna talk about your show, but I thought a good way to get into this whole embracing immaturity was to bring up this article.
And it is a hole.
Yeah, it is a big. It's just like the pouch in the back of a airline seat. Okay, back in July of this year, we were featured. Well, we were mentioned in a New York Times article
Do you know about this?
No.
by Jennifer. Was that Weiner or Weiner?
This is
It's
the best part about
definitely
the about the article because
I don't want to be. I mean, I'm already being immature about it, but I honestly don't know because you can say
Jennifer-
Weiner.
Wiener. Her last name is.
You can say Weiner or
Wiener.
Weiner, and I'm
I'll
sure
say it
that
for
she
you. It's Wiener.
absolutely, absolutely hates
Oh yeah.
this conversation.
Oh
I
yeah.
went to school
Well-
with a couple wieners and it's wiener.
Yeah, Jennifer Weiner wrote an article, an op-ed in the New York Times called "The Men Who Never Have to Grow Up." And the big picture that is featured here is Donald Trump Jr. laughing in a field in a flannel shirt and baggy jeans. And the premise of this article is basically that there is this sentiment that runs deep in American culture that says boys will be boys and therefore men can get away with anything. You know, like we've got men who are in their 30s who mid to late 30s who should be grown-ups but act like kids and we excuse their bad behavior. So she talks about Teddy Kennedy and the whole bridge situation with the girl that drowned and like
Tactful.
you know, the way that when he's 37 years old at the time and like he was kind of excused for that because boys will be boys. And then they talk about, then all of a sudden they start
But
talking.
that's not current. She
No,
seemed
no.
to be talking about like a current trend that Donald Trump Jr.
Well,
is
yeah, she
poster boy of.
She goes on to say, and this is when we get mentioned, okay? And then she gets back into Trump here in a second, but we can laugh, but we should also recognize that Americans have a soft spot for our troublemakers and scamps. Scamp, I didn't know that word, who are, as Waylon Jennings sang of Bo and Luke Duke, good old boys never meaning no harm. Start with YouTube, which is crammed with fellows in their 30s and 40s who have declined to put away childish things and have instead made their fortunes by singing love songs to their pillows or performing trick basketball shots.
And then the love songs to their pillows, there's a link. Is that us?
Oh yeah, it is.
That is us. Oh good, they linked to the video. More views.
Clicks.
Millions of subscribers watch Rhett McLaughlin and Link Neal, that's us, both 39.
Ooh,
both
that number.
39, not for long, baby. Eat bugs or play Will It Taco with pine needles. And then they talk about this other dude. And then
Colin Furze, the 37-year-old inventor with his 360-degree swing and his wearable Wolverine claws.
Is also huge. Moving on to Ryan Seacrest and then Chris Hardwick and then Billy Bush. Whoa, okay, we just escalated.
Yeah.
Now we're in Billy Bush territory and then she comes out of the bush and then she brings up Donald Trump Jr. again, which
and Ryan Lochte.
Yeah, right. So, and the idea, and she brings up the whole the Russia scandal, and in this point, everyone was talking about his meeting that he had, and so her point is that this is pervasive in culture, but then she brings up scamps and troublemakers and throws us. And by the way, Ryan Seacrest and Chris Hardwick into the mix.
Ryan doesn't fit. He's no scam.
And so, I mean,
But you think we fit?
No.
No, you can say it.
No, but
well, I think that first of all, there's lots of comments on this article, and thank you to all the mythical beasts who came in to comment and came to our defense and kind of pointed out some obvious. Now, first of all, credit to Miss Wiener because she.
Sorry,
you can't
I'm not helping.
she did the thing that you need to do when you write an article, and that is you gotta get people talking about it. And I tweeted about this. I said I'm not sure why we were included, and then Chris Hardwick responded to that tweet, and he's more popular than we are. He's tweeting about it. So congratulations, Jennifer, because people talked about your article. Mission accomplished. But
thanks to you.
I think one of the things we're gonna talk about is the difference between being a troublemaker or a scamp and being somebody who's young at heart and likes to have a good time. And I think she conflated those things.
Well, can we just get out of the way the fact that we are professional comedians. Whether you're a male, a female, no matter who you are, if your job is to be an entertainer and a comedian, there's a long history of, irrespective of your age, embracing immaturity as part of
the job.
A part of the job.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a freaking politician or the son of one.
Yeah, and we're not getting away with things or morally questionable things because we're having a good time acting like fools.
But the accusation is that we are contributing to
a culture where, you know, boys will be boys. It's just harmless little scampage. Just let them off the hook kind of thing, because this is the example that we provide. There's a disconnect there, but I don't know what it is. Well, I don't get it. Well,
I don't get the connection.
Well, I can't remember what Hardwick tweeted, but he basically said something like, "I am a responsible adult who, you know, owns a company and or whatever." We can say the same thing. Married with children, fathers of teenagers at this point, running a media company in Los Angeles. So there's a mature part, like we've taken responsibility for our own actions and our own, you know.
I would even say influence.
Yeah, but that is unrelated to acting like a fool for the sake of entertainment, I think. And you guys act like fools pretty much nonstop.
I mean, we say one of the tenets of mythicality in the book is tomfoolery. Bringing that back.
Yeah, exactly.
As a term.
Curiosity, creativity, and tomfoolery.
I I mean, you're building a whole show around it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You feel guilty now?
No, well,
You guys second guessing?
no, I think it's weird I just think it's a weird thing to call people out for. Also, it's just like, I feel like people want to discredit things. So they see like, oh, this is like a fun, goofy thing, and they want to discredit it as like, oh, it's silly and dumb. When in reality, as people who work behind the scenes on a bunch of shows here, it's like there's so much creativity and things that go into all the work here, and I don't know, people just want to discredit that without giving it any credence for a reason I don't understand.
Well, and this is we say this all the time. It's like we try to be very smart about being stupid, right? We try to do stupid things in a smart way. So and that's what you guys do. So you have your the reasons that you come up with on the show to do the things that you're going to do for the sake of entertainment, make it seem like you're just a couple of guys who kind of sit in a loft all day and just wait until something inspires you. But you guys also produce the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we do everything with the show. I mean, it's a lot. I wish that we could just sit down in that loft and come up with the things that we come up with. But
there's an element of that.
Yeah.
But we're not that person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right. Yeah,
or
exactly.
we'd never the show wouldn't get done. We'd never
Right.
be able to do anything.
We'd just be doing really stupid stuff all the
So
time.
I'd say naturally, sure, we're imbeciles for maybe, let's say, 50-50 part of the day, sure. But but it's like we do sit around and we talk about why do we want to do this idea?
That's okay. That's a good question.
Why?
Like, what goes through your minds when you come up with the things that you guys want to do on the show?
I think the main thing, the first thing that drives us is, has anybody done anything like this before? And I think that drives all the shows here for the most part.
Yeah.
Especially GMM. I mean, it's like the main thing. I mean, we're always cross-checking everything to be like, has anyone done anything even like this before? And so I think we have a little bit more like pull to kind of do way out the wall stuff.
Not even off the wall.
Out the wall.
Well, people have said off the wall, so you made a choice right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna say out the
People
wall.
are saying off the wall. It's out the wall.
Right.
For 10 feet tall.
Right.
Which rhymed.
Out the wall with 10 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly. But we're always trying to do just different. We want to be different. Anybody can be weird and stupid, but you got to do it in a different, more creative way, which is what we try to do.
Does something you've shot stand out, like, as a moment of just another day? I always say when we're in the middle of something really stupid that we're doing, that, I mean, again, we're talking about we fully calculated why we're doing it and how it's gonna be fun for the audience. But then when I'm doing it, it's just like, man, this is another day at the office doing something totally stupid.
Yeah.
And I mean, you conceive these things, and then when you're in it, or dangling from it, or trying to sell it, or whatever it is, I mean, to me, that if you're having those moments, then you're doing something right.
Yeah. I think moments like,
what are the best moments so far?
The moments of like pure creativity that you can like see us figuring it out as you go are the ones that I like the best. Like, we did this thing with 2 giant teddy bears where essentially there was no game plan for like how we were gonna make that work. Like, we were just like, we want to do a battle with 2 giant teddy bears. And so you can see us figuring it out on camera and like discovering what everything was gonna be. Because we had no idea if any of that would work at all, or even if we could get inside of it.
That's when you can tell we're having, I think that's what people love, is when they can see we're actually having a ton of fun doing something, exploring something we didn't know would work or not. Yeah. And then when it does work,
it's incredible.
It's insane.
Right, like that, there's this curiosity, like, well, can we get a bear big enough? How do I get in it?
Right.
How do I get out of it? How do I
fight in it?
Of course.
And documenting that is super important to us.
Yeah, like capturing those moments where it's like you guys
everyone
are
across America
something.
can do it as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully. No, it's weird too, because I think that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. It's like going back to those childhood moments where you're with your friend maybe and you have 2 giant teddy bears, like your sisters or something, and you're like, we're not doing anything today. we should do something weird with these teddy bears. And like, that's what we want the show to be like. It's like you're there with your best friend, just like trying to figure out something to do. And then you make something totally crazy happen.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is that, you know, your show, I mean, we, in the same way that GMM has a broad audience in terms of age, you know, the kind of the peak demographic of people who watch GMM is 18 to 24. The second highest group is 25 to 34. And then it's actually 13 to 17. The youngest kids are, that's their third. So the interesting thing is, while we're doing really dumb stuff, you guys are doing really dumb stuff as well. But
let's say silly. I don't even want to say
silly.
dumb. Like, silly.
It's mythical. We can use the term mythical because it's hitting the trifecta, you know, creativity, curiosity, and tomfoolery.
It's not dumb, it's not stupid.
It's not just, well.
It's some tomfoolery.
To finish the point, adults are watching this, and I think because it appeals to people, right?
Right.
Seeing grown people do silly stuff, it appeals to people because it's not, when we kind of lock ourselves into, and this is where I kind of take issue with Miss Wiener's article, or at least being included in it. I'm not saying that the thing about the culture and the boys will be boys is wrong. I'm saying that including us as an example of that, where I disagree with that, is the fact that people get locked into quote unquote normal jobs. You grow up and you've got real responsibilities, and it can become very easy to just be consumed with those responsibilities and never have any outlet for your fun, right? If you've got a job where, first of all, lots of people have jobs where they've got to be serious the entire day, and those people are, you know, I don't want my doctor in a teddy bear suit. I want, you know what I'm saying? So, but that doesn't mean that he or she is not gonna have an outlet for tomfoolery in their life. And I think that your show is an escape from that. Right. And it's not, to Link's point, it's not just one thing. It's not just tomfoolery, right? If it was just stupid, and that was all it was, which there are a lot of YouTube videos that are just stupid. But but it has an originality, creativity, and a curiosity factor to it that I think kind of redeems and makes you feel, as a responsible adult, I can get into this, I can laugh at it, and not feel like I'm just wasting my time.
Right.
Well, you know, I think when we talked about like starting 10 Feet Tall and what it was gonna look like, and in addition to also saying, okay, this is a starting point, these are some ideas, let's agree on what this is, and then you guys go and make it happen and then make it your own, and it'll morph over time. Even with that being said, as a side note, I remember talking early on about some of the first ideas, and we talked about Jackass, about how, well, we're not just gonna make another version of Jackass. If you guys wanna do weird things, it's like, these are some other elements that I think you guys were interested in including that we've already talked about. But then I actually don't even wanna throw Jackass under the bus. I didn't watch it a whole lot, and I haven't watched any of the movies. We've talked about the movies because you've watched them.
Yeah.
And you're like, you actually need to watch them because there's a level of creativity that went into a lot of the way that they did those stunts.
I'm a fan.
Like, so even something like Jackass, you may say, well, that is just plain stupid. I mean,
Right.
just getting hit in the balls, I mean, that gets old.
And it
Keeps
does.
happening
hit
to
everywhere
me, though.
else.
It does
happens
get
to me
old,
over and over again.
And it
on my
happens to
But
just
even
you.
that,
Yeah, it does.
there's a level of creativity that went into what they did that, again, we want to do something different. I think Mythicality includes some other things besides that. But I can't even write that off and say, I can't even point to Jackass and say, well, that's kind of base level.
Right. And we're gonna keep talking about that, but first we're gonna take a short break to show some love to our sponsors. Well, first of all, we're wearing the merch that we want to talk about. I mean, we got 10 Feet Tall t-shirts. I got on a 10 Feet Tall pocket tee. You got on the Goth Dogs t-shirt from your Goth Dogs video. That was like one of the early episodes. One of my favorites to this day.
Mike's got on a striped prison tee.
We're not selling that yet.
Not a tee.
Not selling that yet.
Matches the couch.
But you can get those
I
t-shirts.
got a dog shirt.
Can't get that t-shirt, but you can get the 2 gray t-shirts at mythical.store. You can also pre-order the Book of Mythicality at bookofmythicality.com. And you know, again, this whole conversation is related to and inspired by the chapter Embracing Maturity, where Link and I talk about the sort of the spirit of never completely growing up, never letting yourself fully grow up, and we talk about how we kind of connected, and then how we've used Good Mythical Morning to explore that and some of the peaks of immaturity that we have experienced together. bookofmythicality.com. But let's continue this conversation.
Well, I mean, the fact that we wrote about, we dedicated a whole chapter to embracing immaturity in the Book of Mythicality, I think the reason why we did that is because we wanted to tap back into the experiences we had when we, you know, when we were just becoming friends, and I guess over the years, and even with GMM, the way that we stay in touch with our inner child, you know, and I think that's what you guys bring to 10 Feet Tall, and what we bring to GMM is we channel viewers into their inner child, you know? It's like, okay, I remember I used to feel that way. I wish I could jump headlong into a bowl of cereal.
Right.
Or dangle from a crane, you know?
It's a lot more painful than you
Yeah.
It's not very comfortable.
But when did you guys realize that you both were like, you obviously had to connect as friends and then realize that you're both willing to act like fools, and because it isn't, you know, it isn't for everybody, right? Acting that way or appreciating adults acting that way isn't for everybody. So you have to find somebody who's willing to think that way. Like what was the initial? Because you were already here, Alex. You were working here.
Yeah.
And then
I remember it.
And you started as a PA, right?
As an intern.
As an intern, yes.
It was probably.
Oh, I know.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with e-cigarettes?
Oh, okay. I think that's where it really hit its peak.
Oh, you got two. He's got an earlier
where
one.
we really know we had something there. But
we'll come back to that one.
Yeah,
so you're
yeah.
going earlier.
I was probably like 3 weeks into my internship. And you know, I'm fresh out of college. I'm really nervous. Like, it's first job in the industry.
Yeah,
like
we thought Mike was a mute for the
I was
first
like,
couple
we
weeks.
gotta make a good impression. You know, all your professors are like, if you screw up the first one,
oh, they
you're
told
in
you
trouble.
that? You were
Oh,
thinking that.
really?
Uh-huh.
They put
This
a lot
is
of
my-
pressure
they're
on
like,
you.
Don't
they're
screw
like,
this
it's
one
hard
up.
enough to even get like an interview anywhere.
The,
Like, don't screw
the
this
thought
up.
of you trying to not screw it up with me
So-
is so funny to me now.
Well, I learned that.
Yeah,
Oh,
quickly.
that's great.
But I remember there was an instance.
So you interviewed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the theater across the hall there. Yeah. Sat him down.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I remember we were loading a van for something, and we were carrying a table, and you asked me if it was too heavy or something. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I know it was very inappropriate, and I don't remember why I said it. But you laughed so hard, and I was so shocked.
I was like fine. It was
like,
like meeting
slipped
somebody
up.
for the first time after
It's
like
whoa,
being around them for like 3
he
weeks.
said something.
Yeah, yeah.
And B, it was funny.
Yeah, very funny.
But I remember there were questions about Mike, right?
Sure.
But people would be like, he doesn't talk a lot. I remember Link asking one time, is he upset about something? and then
No,
and then
I
Stevie
think
was
the
like,
question was, is he upset about everything?
right. And then Stevie was like, no. Mike is actually really funny. Ask Alex. The application wasn't, Mike is really funny, just hang out with him for a while. It was just, no, just go straight to Alex.
Yeah.
And
He'll tell you
tell
that
you.
Mike is funny.
Well, what was the e-cig thing?
We like Eddie was going through a period where he was vaping a lot, and Mike would tell him he could vape anything. So we would pick up, this is such a stupid thing. We would like pick up a glass and you'd be like pretend vaping a glass, and then I was like, Mike, please don't vape the building.
well,
I'm like, what? Like it's the dumbest thing.
we
but-
went to Eddie had like a housewarming party or something.
Oh,
once.
yeah.
We went there and there was a guy there who's super like hardcore into vaping.
Okay.
Like, really into the culture about it.
talking
and,
about
like,
his box mods on his vape.
And I went there and I did the vape bit.
and
and
he,
Meaning you
he pretended to vape like a
I-
pencil
like
or
a
something.
scooter. I think there was a Razor scooter in the room.
so you made fun of the guy to his face.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my
Oh, but
life.
that guy didn't like it.
He didn't get it. which happens a lot.
No, I remember. I was
that's the best jokes.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Only your friend gets.
Yeah, I
I'm a
remember
selfish.
making you go up and talk to him though, and be like, "Hey, go tell that guy that you could vape anything."
Well, I told him I was a sponsored scooter guy too.
Like you were with Razor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
sponsored
so
by
funny.
Razor.
That party was so wild too.
I wonder if he bought a scooter after that.
He was interested.
Vape culture is they are
It's
very
insane.
very defensive. Like when we did that whole when we brought the
Yes.
Surgeon
I
General on to
remember.
talk about e-cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh man, we had some people who were just like boycotted the show because we said we let the Surgeon General come on and say scientific things about vaping.
I remember a guy made a response video and he did like a beat for beat, like every 10 seconds he would interrupt. And
Here's
be
the problem
like,
with that.
Okay, you're wrong, man. And he's like ripping his little vape the whole time.
Really?
I love that.
Yeah. He's just
I'm sorry for all the vapors
I didn't watch
we
that.
lost. And you know what?
Is that why the Surgeon General got fired?
Yeah,
Because of that response video?
It really took
I
off.
Oh,
hope
we
so.
did it.
Thank you to all the vapors
Stuck with it.
who are still with us. You know,
Keep vaping, so that's funny to me.
I can't
is
honestly
funny.
say keep vaping, but I mean,
Yeah, we're not gonna say
that Surgeon
that.
General was fired. So I mean, but the science still backs him up.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to talk about too was the. I think we've got. Speaking of science, I think we've got science on our side. You know, we do a job where we get to do a lot of foolish things, right? And I think that has kind of caused us to perceive ourselves as younger than we actually are. We were talking about earlier today that, like, when I watch, I mean, I'm gonna be 40 in October, but when I watch like the NBA, they all seem older than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
they do. James Harden is at least 45.
Right.
No doubt about it.
and I
Without
feel
a
like
doubt.
they're
The beard that big?
always
Yeah.
like, when do you start, like, now
They're also more talented than you.
Vince
at
Carter.
basketball.
Vince Carter is older than me, but he may be like the only one, right? Now, at what point do you begin to feel older than NBA basketball players or just professional athletes in general?
I think the question is, does the average 39-year-old feel that way when they watch NBA?
I don't know.
When
We
there's
don't
none
have
in
any-
here,
we don't
we
have
can
any
only
other
ask
39-year-olds yet.
I will say, yeah, I feel like they're older than me. And I've seen them in person, man.
And they're also athletes, and you've been watching that since you were a kid.
Right,
So
so
there's
it's
other
associated
things, but then like you know, like sometimes you'll just
well, I
you'll
went,
meet somebody,
well,
and then you'll find out that dude's 39. That dude's the same age. That dude's younger than me.
I will meet people. It happens a lot.
And I'm not
in
talking
the
about.
context
I'm
of
not talking
my
about looking
kids.
old. I'm not talking about like looking old.
No, it's
talking
a
about-
total package. Yeah.
Yeah, acting old.
Like I will meet parents of my friends of my kids.
That's one way to put it.
And what? What the hell? Else? Parents of friends. How
That's
else?
one
Not
way to-
friends.
that's one
Definitely
way.
not friends.
So my kids' friends' parents
That's
is
one
another way
Yeah,
to put
right,
it.
That's yeah, right.
And I just find myself thinking, do they think I'm a kid too? Like I literally think that I'm like, I'm wearing a hat.
I'm not a kid.
Like they're taking out juice boxes and they give you one
yeah.
too.
right.
It's like, would you like a sliced orange? It's like I'm also a dad. I'm here to support the kids in their sports or whatever. Because I'm like wearing a hat or like I'm wearing a freaking T-shirt
Shirt
with a dog on it.
Right.
And then
That's
I'm
cool,
wearing
though.
like a trendy hat.
And at some point,
I mean, not that trendy, Mike.
That's always been weird to me.
That's how I know when I wear hats.
No, when yeah,
be honest.
Sure.
When I walk through the office with a hat, it is a little weird.
I've never asked my dad, but I always wonder, did he dress like this forever?
Yeah.
Or did it happen at some point?
It happened
right?
at some
Yeah.
Because
point.
that's the question. When
and
do you need
why?
to make the transition?
Well, he got a real job. We never got real jobs.
we
I mean,
did-
it's pretty
no,
obvious.
No, we did. We dressed. You remember how we dressed
Well,
when we
yeah,
were engineers?
Well, we had real jobs. And
khakis with polo shirts. tucked
we
in.
dressed like 55-year-old guys.
Yes.
I dress like an 18-year-old most of the time, and
Right.
like people have commented on that. I mean, you were talking about maybe switching up your wardrobe this summer after your experience on Buddy System. You're like, I remember you talking to me. I was like, I had some chambray pants or something like that,
Yeah.
and you were like, I had some chambray pants on this shoot, and I'm thinking about changing everything up.
Yeah, but for him that would be moving from
You're
like
aging up
being a
there.
youngster to being like a hobo.
Yeah.
He's skipping tracks.
I wouldn't get older though.
He wouldn't get older. He
necessarily.
would just
Parallel.
get
More comfortable.
he would
Yeah.
just,
Less
it was-
That's
And
like
I-
that's a stepping stone.
And
to,
I have
or like
some
a
of those.
guru. Like
Yeah,
all of a sudden
sure.
Rhett shows up at work and it's like, why are you dressed like a guru?
But the
but
funny thing is,
but not old.
Right.
it only works with the man bun, and I don't have that, and I'm not gonna have
Gotta
that in
have
real
that,
life,
yeah.
and so then it doesn't really complete the look.
But
But
a normal job that you start to assimilate.
Yeah.
And I mean to do certain jobs, like to be an engineer and when I had to walk out on the floor of the factory at IBM and tell them the conveyor belt goes here, or you're fired, sir, because a robot is replacing you. Like when I would do things like that, and I would, my shirt better be tucked in if you want people to move that conveyor belt.
But it can't be all about dress, right? We can't. I don't. It's too
and my
superficial.
hairstyle.
Well, okay, hairstyle's part of it.
But it's more of a mentality.
Because I'm not saying anything about external stuff, because I feel like this is more like internal age perception. I think is ultimately what we're saying. I mean, we have the luxury in the town that we live in,
Yeah,
in the
that's- I was
industry
gonna
that
say
we're
that.
in, specifically what our jobs are in the industry. We can kind of just never grow up externally. There will be this time sooner for us than for you guys, in which it's sort of like, why is that 50-year-old guy dressed like a child? And so
because he's still a YouTuber.
you have
That's
to
gonna
find
be
a way to make a transition,
whispers.
and it will maybe be suddenly very awkward, you know?
But there were people, like back in Harnett County growing up, like I think Coach Brandel, my soccer coach, he grew up, but he never grew old.
Yeah.
It's like Peter Pan. He would wear like a soccer jersey and soccer pants and no underwear.
Yeah.
And if the light
Hold on, that
if
has
the-
nothing to do with age.
if the light hit his
it might.
if the light hit his soccer pants just right, you could tell
Umbros.
he had no underwear on. It's like that's not something a responsible adult does when you're parading up and down like a
Nobody
sideline.
really ever goes command. I mean, that's going commando. Like, I mean, you right when you're born you are, but then you soon after wear a diaper and then you transition to underwear. It's like I think that actually signifies really old. Like,
he did.
but he was young at heart.
Stops
he
caring.
was young at heart.
And okay, and science backs this up, that this is a good way to live. This is a good way to think about yourself. 2 researchers at University College in London looked at the responses of about 6,500 men and women who answered the question, how old do you feel you are? The respondents were aged 52 and older with an average age of 65. Their answers: about 70% felt 3 or more years younger than their actual age, 25% felt close to their actual age, and 5% felt more than 1 year older than their actual age. Then, 8 years after the study, participants answered the age question. 8 years after the study where they answered the question, researchers went back and determined who was still alive.
Oh.
75% of those who felt older than their age were still alive. 82% of those who felt their actual age were still alive, and 86% of those who felt younger than their actual age were still alive. So a 11% increase in not longevity, but you know, people still being alive after 8 years just because of the perception of their age. Then it goes in to talk about like, well, what is that? If you think that you're younger, you tend to think, I've got more of my life ahead of me, you make better choices about your diet or whatever, but I'm sure there's like lots of connections that they'll continue to discover. But there's an argument to be made that when you kind of grow up and you start seeing yourself as your actual age, you actually increase your risk of dying early or on time. And you may be able to cheat death a little bit if you think that you're younger than you are.
Well, let's each get in our minds
Yeah.
how old we actually feel like we are. And don't say it out loud, because I don't want your answer to sway me. Because you know if you say an answer, I'll just copy it. So I got, how old do we feel?
Okay,
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I got an answer.
Okay, I got my answer.
You can't change your answer.
Yeah, I'll go 1st.
Let's start from youngest to oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike,
Now, how old are you again?
I'm 24,
Okay.
about to
God.
be 25. I feel 19.
What?
I
Why?
feel like I don't feel any different than the year I graduated high school.
that there may be a
I know I am, and I've done things to show that it hasn't hindered me, I hope. But I don't feel like I think any
Feel
differently.
19.
Like
you don't
I see,
think any differently?
I know I do, but I don't feel like
You know, your
I do.
brain, of all of us, you're the only one whose brain is actually still
Still
developing.
going.
Still going.
Still going. Yeah.
No,
That stopped a while ago.
your frontal cortex is still developing and will until an average age of 26.
I gotta
So
be
you actually
careful.
don't become as like cognitively capable as you will be until you're 26, and then you peak, and then it basically starts going downhill.
I just
Which is
feel
why
like-
we haven't
Great,
given up
thanks
on
for
you.
that.
I just feel like Mike's might not be. I don't want to, like, I don't mean to undercut what you're saying.
He's been vaping too
But
much.
yeah, he's been.
I've
been
reached my
vaping
peak, or
scooters.
it's coming
The guy
way
was
later.
vaping
What does that
scooter.
mean?
Yeah, you stopped when you vaped that scooter. Man.
That's very
the
possible.
cortex just like it's a
Oh,
wrap.
I'm
in
out.
there.
Okay, how old do I feel? Well, I'm old now. Well, I don't know. I feel
You're 28, right?
28. I feel 23.
Not bad.
Okay, 4 years.
That's
younger.
because when you tell me it's been 5 years since I've been in college, I just think there's no way. Like, I feel exactly the same as I did when I was a senior in college. And I don't know. I just feel like nothing has changed since that time, but I hope to God some things have. Because 23-year-old Alex was a mess. But still, I feel like mentally, I'm pretty much the same. I don't know. But that's 5 years seems like a long time now that I say it out loud.
Yeah, but you having changed and been through a lot in those years, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't still feel like that same person. I mean, you're gonna I don't know, you're gonna be surprised. I'm going last though, so I think you're gonna be surprised at my number.
Oh. I believe in my heart of hearts that I'm 26 years old.
Yes. Yes.
26.
So 26 is it for me.
That's his, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm younger than the real you
Yeah.
in my mind, but not younger than the you in your mind.
Right.
So you're still younger than me on both accounts. If we're comparing
Right.
apples
This
to
is
apples,
actually
Alex.
kind of shocking because I'm gonna give you my number and then I'm gonna give you the theory for why you feel how old you are and I feel how old I am, and it's the same reason. So
Okay.
I am 39, will be 40 in October. I feel 27.
Ooh, that's right. So proportionately correct.
And no.
Yes, you're a year older than me.
No, because we're both 39 right now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in this
But
moment,
you're about to be. You're practically 40. Who are we kidding?
yeah, but that's not the reason. It's not relative. It is the age that we were when we had our first child.
Yeah.
You were 26 when Lily was born, and I was 27 when Locke was born, and that was
It was a milestone.
that was the last. And I didn't come up with
That's a
that.
good theory.
I came up with that irrespective. I was like, how old do I feel? I was like 27. I feel like my life, while my life has changed drastically, and being the father of 2 kids or 3 kids is different than 1 kid, and being the father of a teenager is different than being the
Right.
father of a newborn.
But being a father
But being a father is like the last great milestone.
that we've experienced.
And it's also, you know, after that magic 26-year-old age where you're fully cognitively developed. And
All right.
it's like,
You'll get there, Mike.
I
Don't-
got
don't
to
worry.
that. I
I
got to
hope
that
so.
point, and it's like, okay,
Wait, hope so.
I'm married. I got kids. I'm a homeowner. I got a job. Like that was also, you know, we hadn't started Mythical Entertainment at that point, but like we had all the trappings, right? The things that kind of define you in your life stage. And at that point, it's kind of feel like, all right, I haven't really gotten any older since then.
I also feel like I'm kind of cheating life that I have so many kids that are as old as they are. Because out here in LA, you start to feel like people who have kids my age are a lot older. So it's easier to believe you're
Yeah, out here.
But hold on, wouldn't that make me feel older?
No, makes you feel younger when
Yeah,
you
that's-
meet
that's the
your
point I was trying to
kids, friends,
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah, they're older than me.
and they're all 10 years older. You know, because if you got a 13-year-old out here,
Yeah.
when people are like, got a 13-year-old, it's like, what? You've got a you guys, well, when did you have them? 13 years ago.
You figure that out.
Yeah.
But the theory applies to you guys.
Yeah, I was just
what
gonna
you were
say,
saying about the Alex about the college thing. You
That's
were like,
the last major milestone I've had in my life.
yeah,
honestly.
Well, leaving. I mean, maybe graduating from college.
Yeah,
was the
that's
milestone,
what I mean.
right?
23.
But you don't. So that
Yeah,
once you cross that threshold.
Yeah, and then I mean, I sent like the next kind of chunk is like post college, and then I started working here, which has actually been a while. 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, you feel like, okay, so in your mind,
I know what you're getting at.
College-
I think there's a reason for that.
college was no.
I probably know yours too. The reason why.
Because when I graduated high school, I immediately, within like a month, moved to Nashville.
Okay.
And then a year after that, I moved to Chicago.
You gonna be a country music singer? We didn't know about that.
I was going to be a audio engineer,
Ooh.
which is what I originally wanted to do. That's a whole nother story.
I bet that's
But-
a sexy story.
So I lived in
Audio
Nashville.
Country
engineer.
sound.
Lived in Nashville for a year. Then I moved to Chicago a year after that for 3 years. And then I moved to LA right after that. So I feel like I've just been going since I graduated high school. Nothing has been like
Yeah, your college experience is very
18 years
fragmented.
of stability.
Oh, so you've been itinerant.
Mm-hmm.
Itinerant.
Mhm.
How do you say that?
Couldn't tell you.
I did a rod.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did a
that's
rod. He did the I did a rod across America.
So immature of me. Sorry.
But okay, so it's wow. We've really we
Tapped
we've
into
tapped
something.
discovered
Yeah,
something,
my
man.
God, that's scary. Yeah, I can divide my life into end of college and then post college. That's how I feel right now. Like I'm developing as a person, kind of like through college, trying to figure things out, and then after that, you're like real world.
But when does it change? Like,
but
what,
it is
what is the
identity.
next? What
Yeah,
is the
we're-
next milestone?
We're talking about identity in terms
Yeah.
of like when you meet someone at a party and the first thing you ask someone is, "What's your name?" But besides the name, it's like, "What do you do?" Or, you know, "Do you have a partner? Do you have kids?" That type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like these very simplistic, oversimplified ways to think about, they associate, well, who am I? Am I a dad? And once you're a dad, there's no going back from that. There's no recovering from that one. And then it's associated with a certain, this is what I do. You know, I think a lot about, in terms of being a dad, I think about being young, not just for myself now, but for my kids. Like I like to, I mean, it's a great way to connect and bond with the kids, to be like, I mean, when I'm at the dinner table and Lincoln still got that, what's it called? Cast.
It's called a cast.
He's got a cast on his arm and people are signing it now and I'm like, oh, it's like, and these are people he's meeting at school now and I'm like, who's Gina? I'm like,
Who's Gina?
and I was like, don't write a VA in front of that. And like
Oh,
that,
you told him
that's
that?
my joke at the dinner table.
Virginia Gina? Gina from Virginia.
And
Oh God.
you know, it's
I
like
am
that's a
immature.
stupid joke. That's not a joke a dad should make,
Well, good dad.
unless you're
Yeah.
a really good
My
dad.
dad
Good
would.
dad will
It's
make
like,
that
I can
joke.
get on your level, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is funny because, so Locke was, getting ready to go to school, first day of like real school, and we were talking about what he was gonna wear, and he had like sweatpants.
Oh, come on now.
Uh-huh.
First day of school, you got.
Yeah, and then I'm like, you gonna wear sweatpants? Like they were like these, but they're not like, they were like cool sweatpants, and they like say like
Drop crotch.
He's
Drop
kinda,
crotch
no, they weren't.
joggers?
No,
Yeah.
they weren't even drop crotch, but they were like, he kind of dresses like at any moment a basketball game could break out,
You gotta be ready.
and he's really into basketball, but he also was like, Dad, like
It's a jock look.
70% of the kids will be wearing sweatpants. It's not because I was like, why don't you just wear like skinny jeans and a button up?
Ooh, yeah, very cool.
And he was like, because I'm not of your generation.
Dang.
Oh. Wait, how old am I? Like I was thinking, yeah, good call, right?
Yeah,
I'm
still a
literally
good
wearing
call,
skinny
yeah.
jeans.
and I'm not saying that there aren't kids at his school who wear skinny jeans and a button up. But he's basically, it was the first time where I was like, am I like out of, is that like an older guy thing now? Like kids like not millennials, but whatever the teenagers are now, whatever that generation is, like they're thinking differently about that, and they've gotten like more casual in their clothing, at least in California. And I was like, oh, because I kind of like to take pride in the fact that like I know whatever music they want to listen to, it's like we can enjoy it together. It's not like I want you to listen to Elvis, son. Like I connected with my parents' music, but it was very much like it was okay. I'm going to listen to Elvis. Or I'm going to listen to Chuck Berry. I'm going to listen to the Four Seasons, because they listened to those records and they had them. But I was connecting with kind of a throwback. But they weren't listening to, in the 80s, I was listening to Michael Jackson, and Weird Al. I was listening to Michael Jackson sing a song and then Weird Al sing it again. But they didn't know or care about any of that.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm talking, I'm very into music. So I'm trying to teach Lincoln how to appreciate Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, listen, there's some, and help him process past like, foul language and say, okay, there's
what's he really talking about?
What's he really talking about here? So he started to break this down, and then one morning I was trying to connect with him, and I was playing Outcast. So this was like a 1996 or maybe 95 song, and Lincoln walks in, I'm like, Lincoln, there would be no Kendrick Lamar if it wasn't for Outcast. So you sit down and listen to this, and I realized, as hip as I thought I was, like this is now the new old man thing to say. Like me talking about, there's this group called Outkast, and there wouldn't be Kendrick Lamar without Outkast.
Oh, I got one that's even more embarrassing than that, because we were driving along and I was like, I want you kids to listen to what I thought was like the best music when I was your age, and I played Young MC.
Do you guys even know?
No.
Okay.
Like Bust a Move, you don't know that song?
I probably heard Bust a Move, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was like, we're gonna listen to the whole album.
The whole album?
And we couldn't.
Were you on a road trip?
It's so, yeah, we were. It's so bad. Now, Outkast, in contrast, holds up, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
But Young MC does not hold up at all. Like, it's so stupid. Like
very segmented, like talking down the street.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, it's not quite like Parents Just Don't Understand. It's it's kind of the same era, but anyway, like, and that was the point. I was like, this is
bubblegum rap.
This is like getting my kids to listen to something, and I kind of admitted in the middle of it, I was like, this isn't good, is it? This is kind of embarrassing to listen to.
Well, okay, yeah, that's worse. I mean, Outkast is a legitimate forefather to Kendrick Lamar, and my kids,
Young MC isn't helping anybody.
A valuable part of their education. But I just realized how long it's been since that. I mean, we're talking 20 years.
I mean, I had
crazy.
I had a moment like that when I was in New York, like just very, very like on that trip, because I was leaving. I just had like left the hotel or something, and I remember seeing like a pack of New York teenagers, and I was like,
pack of them.
Dang, these kids are so much cooler than like, I think I'm a pretty hip, I know what's going on with the kids these days. But I remember seeing like these kids were so much cooler than I could ever be. I was like, so they grow up in New York, like they're all dressed way cooler than me. They had like boom boxes like people did in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, but they were like cool new Bluetooth boom boxes walking down the street. It's like, dang, these kids are so cool, man.
So you felt old.
And also old and like a little scared. Like they could beat me up at any time if they wanted to. It was kind of intense. It was weird.
There was a physical element.
Yeah.
Mike, have you ever felt old yet?
Oof.
Do you ever not feel 19?
Never, no. I don't know. Have I felt old?
Are you still the youngest person in Mythical Entertainment?
Chase is younger than you, I think.
Chase is? I think we're the same age.
Oh, really?
Do I feel old ever? No, not yet.
Yeah.
I've had
well, when it happens, just ignore it like we do.
Yeah.
I probably will.
If you want to live forever.
And I think the point is it's also, it's okay, right? It's like, there's nothing, again, we're making the distinction between somebody who never grows up and never takes responsibility for their life and somebody who does take responsibility for their life but then doesn't completely grow up and is willing to do childish things. It's like, I kind of feel like there's something inside you that dies a little bit, and possibly yourself later dies, when you just say, all right, I'm putting all that aside and I'm not ever gonna be silly. I'm not ever gonna imagine or do the things, the unreserved things that I would have done as a child. And again, some people are lucky and they get to do it for their job, and we get to just act like fools and if you were to take and do the stuff that we do on our shows at your house or at your school, you'd be expelled.
Boxing is no good.
But you know, one of the cool things that I have seen a lot of times is I'll see like a fan video of like a father and a son doing like their own Willet or doing like something that we did on the show.
Yeah, we had a kid who spent 24 hours in a box after we did our after we did our photo booth thing, and his like mom sent us like updates. They're like, here he goes, he's about to start 24 hours in this cardboard box.
Where was the box?
Like just in his living room. He wasn't really roughing it like we were, but still, it was like dope. It was cool that it was like, I don't know. It was
well,
cool
and even his mom just being a part of that is
exactly.
like her participating in that tomfoolery, you know?
Did he do it?
He did, yeah. We got a video of him coming out at like hour 24. He was stoked. Yeah, it was fun. It was
of course,
cool.
you guys didn't actually do it.
Yeah, it was off of the camera.
Actually did.
Every time I showed up, you were in there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I mean that's
great.
why you were laughing so hard that morning, is because you couldn't believe that we were still there.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's just coming up with something that's ridiculous, but then saying, who knows what we're gonna learn or how we're gonna grow as people. Or like our brains, I mean, the science of it, you start to make all these, you go out on so many limbs, your brain grows, man. It connects.
Oh, you think the brain is growing and connecting?
It grows and connects, man. It keeps you alive. When you say, you know what, I'm gonna jump in head first, baby.
Yeah, well,
metaphorically speaking.
But I mean, it's
check the depth.
This is anecdotal, but you know, there are just people who are like, I'm old. Well, I can't do that anymore.
Well, that was something I was gonna ask actually, is like people, one of the few negative notes that we ever get is like, oh, this is so mature or something. And I didn't know like how you guys kind of react to that or what you think about that. Like when people come at you, there's like not much bad you can say about the shows, I think, in my opinion. But like the only negative notes that we've gotten is really like, oh, that's so dumb or that's so immature. But it's, I don't know, that's kind of, it's a little upsetting that people are so quick to discredit for that reason. It's like, yeah, it's dumb, but it took forever to come up with this. And it's like, you didn't come up with this, you know? And it's like, it was a cool thing to do.
I just think that if somebody says that about one of your videos, they're just not getting the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like, do you really think that the main motivation here is to really figure out how to get inside of a bear? It's like, no, that's almost part of the fun that we're legitimately asking the question. But it's really for that moment that we can be two bears fighting each other.
Yeah.
And there's just it's just like we talk about in the book. It's when we were inside that cereal bowl, and I actually saw on Facebook recently, they reposted it. Somebody had curated the 5 top moments of Link freaking out or whatever.
Yeah.
One of them is in the cereal bowl, and there was like this pure, I mean, I was there too. It was kind of a bigger moment for you than it was for me, but it was a big moment for both.
Oh, yeah,
we
were all there.
But there's this
flashback.
Yeah.
pure, like unadulterated joy and euphoria of just being able to do something like that without regard to anybody's perception of it.
Yeah.
And people are gonna be like, this is dumb, I don't get it, this is immature, or this is a waste of cereal. You get that a lot
donated
too.
it. It was donated.
We gave it to horses. But
It's that moment. I mean, it's that moment. I remember the first time I successfully rode a bike. Like my Aunt Tisi was gonna teach me to ride a bike, and she did that thing where she was like holding onto the back and running with me. And we were going around the house. And then one time I came around the house, and when I came around the house, I saw her. And I knew she couldn't be behind me anymore. And I was like, it was it felt like I was flying. I felt like I was flying. And then I fell. But before I fell, that moment was something that I felt when I came up out of that cereal. And I know you guys feel it. That's the magic that you capture. It's not just, okay, they actually did it, but they experienced it.
Yeah,
you experience life, man. You grab it by the balls. You embrace immaturity. And it's something to be celebrated, not something to be apologized for.